Hey everybody, welcome to day 106 on the CDT. I got a friend joining me today. For some reason, the little yellow butterflies, I think, like my sweat. So, like at lunch, I think it was lunch today, I had like 4 or 5 of them on me, and they're all over this place. So, anytime I stop walking, they land on me. Once again, I am a hot mess. Here we go. All right. Good enough. So day 106, Marty and I started out in Yellowstone, and we were at Summit Lake. There's a campsite there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 3 northbound through hikers in addition to Marty and myself, and 1 southbound at the campsite last night. And it rained last night. It started at like 1:45-ish and rained for a few hours. It was off and on. And when I got up this morning, there were clouds in the sky. So Marty had actually downloaded the weather forecast from his Garmin, and it called for rain today and tomorrow, like all day. So we were a bit concerned that we were going to be hiking in rain again. You would think I'd get used to it at this point, but it's not enjoyable. I've had enough rain is basically it. Do I think that it's going to rain a bit more before the end of this trail? Yeah, but twice a week is fine with me. Like hopefully one of those days I'm in town, but twice a week I think would keep the fires away in Montana, and I'm good with that. I have no control over it, so it is what it is. We were pleasantly surprised today. We hiked out of camp at like 6:30, and like the clouds kind of swirled off and burned off, and I want to say like 3 hours later, there were blue skies, so we did not get rained on, which was nice. We had a big day today. I have to look at the mileage. I think we're going to end up around 27 or 28 miles today, and that'll put us in a good position for tomorrow. I think it's only like 13 miles to town. We're going into West Yellowstone to resupply because of, sorry, I'm sitting on uneven rock. Because of the snafu at the Old Faithful post office, we're going to go into West Yellowstone. Hopefully the post office was able to forward our boxes to West Yellowstone and we can resupply there. And then we'll keep on going to Lima. This morning it was about 5-ish miles from our campsite to Idaho. In yesterday's video I talked about getting into Montana. I probably should have explained that a bit more. So we're going directly west out of Yellowstone from Summit Lake, or almost directly west. And 5 miles from camp, we hit Idaho, but we're still in the park. And then I think it's another like 1.5 or so miles after that, we exited the park. And so a new state. We were in Idaho for most of today, and just at the end of today, we crossed from Idaho into Montana. And so I'll turn this around. And let's see here. Those signs, if you can see them way in the distance, here, let me write it down in there. That is Idaho and Montana, the border. So we're at a junction. That's actually an old railroad. I think it's an old railroad tracks, actually. So it's pretty flat, which was nice, but they've turned it into a trail. And so we crossed from Idaho into Montana right before we decided to camp. And we'll go that way on the junction tomorrow. So 3 states in one day. It's funny because the last time I hiked in Montana, it wasn't very much. It was 2008 when Charlie and I were hiking the Gallatin Skyline in Yellowstone. And the Gallatin Skyline actually bounces in and out of the border of the park, and it also bounces in between Wyoming and Montana. So that's the only hiking I've done in Montana, was when I was bouncing between Wyoming, Montana, and the NPS boundary on the Gallatin Skyline. So surprisingly enough, the only other time I've hiked in Idaho and Montana now has been when I exited Yellowstone and hiked into Idaho and then eventually Montana. So we will, Marty and I will get into West Yellowstone tomorrow, hopefully do some laundry, take a shower. As you can see, I need one. And then hopefully we'll hike out Saturday, and we'll start going over towards Lima, Montana. But this section of the trail actually bounces back and forth between Idaho and Montana. It's often referred to as, I think, the border is what it's referred to, but you'll hike in Montana for a bit, you'll jump over to Idaho, hike in Idaho, jump back over to Montana. So we'll actually do that for a little bit. After the resupply at Lima, we'll actually resupply at Ledor, and that's in Idaho. So the bouncing back and forth will go on for a little bit. So today was beautiful weather. We exited Yellowstone. I did not get to hear or see a wolf. I was really sad about that. We did not hear or see a grizzly bear. I didn't even see grizzly bear scatter or prints, which is impressive. The other times in Yellowstone, I usually have seen prints or scat of a bear. We didn't see a black bear. The most, I think, vicious animal that Marty and I saw in Yellowstone was a huge elk. He was a good size elk, but he saw us and he just pranced away. He didn't want anything to do with us, so no threat whatsoever. The thermal features like the Geyser Basin and the Upper Geyser Basin were absolutely beautiful. There, I think in one of the earlier videos I talked about like this huge meadow that, you know, obviously hadn't been grazed except for wild animals, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. The lakes were very pretty, like Summit Lake, Shoshone, and Heart Lake. Witch Creek was nice. We got to, you know, put our calves and feet into the hot water to kind of soothe them a bit. Old Faithful Village was nuts. Like it's just sensory overload for, sorry, there's a mosquito. Sensory overload for that many people when you got like I think it's the Snow Lodge, and then the Old Faithful Inn, and then you got the other lodge, and then you have the general store, you have the visitor and education center, you got the grill and the restaurants, and like the gift shops and everything. Like it's just so many people, so much activity going on. Yellowstone was good. I got to see the southern portion of the park and the western portion of the park, and it was great. I think the fun part yesterday that I forgot to mention was there's a hiker by the name of Wow. That's his trail name, W-O-W. He is from Tasmania down near Australia. And he and I actually rode in the shuttle together on the 28th of April down to the border in New Mexico. And once they closed the national forest, Wow had got to Grants with another hiker by the name of Andy. And I had actually hiked, like leapfrogged with Andy for a couple days in the desert. In the first 5 days of the desert down in New Mexico. It's really referred to as the boot heel. So Andy and Wow were in Grants. Andy is from Scotland originally. Wow is from England originally, but both of them about 30 years ago moved out, and Andy went to Canada and Wow went to Tasmania. And they ended up meeting in Grants, I believe, and Andy said, "Hey mate, I live 3 hours away from Waterton, which is the border crossing for the CDT up in Glacier National Park. Why don't we go up to my place for 2 or 3 weeks, wait for the mid-June, and then we'll do it's known as a flip-flop. So you start northbound, you get stopped for whatever reason, and then so you jump up to the border and start going southbound until you go back to the original point where you started, which in this case would be Grants. So they get to do the whole trail. It's just part of it was north and part of it was south. And yesterday, Marty and I were like a mile away from Old Faithful Village, and I ran into Wow, and I got to catch up with him, see how he's doing. He started up in Canada and has made it down to Yellowstone, so he's going to keep on trucking, and hopefully he'll get through the rest of Wyoming and Colorado and the northern part of New Mexico to finish up. I guess Andy's about a day or two behind him. So I haven't run into Andy. It'd be great to see Andy as well, but it was definitely a highlight to see Wow and just see how he's doing. And it was nice that he was safe and his hike was continuing. So, so Yellowstone, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, the resupply, some anecdotes. I think that's about it for this evening. We got to camp a little before 7, so my water's finished and my camp's set, like a tent set up. I got to do the inside. I just got to cook some dinner, stretch, and then I can get in. So it's about 7:45. I'm hoping to get into the tent around 8:30 and get a good night's sleep. So I hope everyone's doing well. It was a long day for me, so I'm a little bit subdued, and I'm also, I think, ready for a proper town visit. But again, I hope everyone's doing well. Hope you're safe, healthy, having a great summer. And I'm sure the kids are getting ready to go back to school, whether they want to or not. So good luck with that, parents. And I'll talk to you folks tomorrow. Bye.